I would disagree. Recently, it has been pretty even, pretty 50-50. As you said, though, it does very much depend on the operator bans coming through. So we'll see Nip with the first ban there. Is going to be the Yin coming out, and Black Dragons going to be banning out the Glaz. So still not seeing any Glaz today.
No, Glaz is going to be a permanent ban, it should seem. We've not seen Glaz neither this evening or yesterday evening. It's just been one of those things that Glaz just hasn't really made his way through. But I say what we have seen. We've seen a heck of a lot of Valkyrie banning.
Well, no swearing on the stream, please. As we will see the final ban starting to come through here from Nip. It'll be Valkyrie off the scene. So yeah, that's a pretty common ban on coastline. You'll see teams like FaZe will heavily abuse the fact that if they have a Valkyrie on coastline and constantly go for the runouts. Nip are going to ban out the Echo here. So some pretty standard bans coming out. So I would say this is still fairly even, and leaving the Maestro on the board here is a little bit questionable from Black Dragons, but it shouldn't matter too much in the long run because they do have Ashe on the board, they do have the Zofia. Those are the operators you're mainly using to get Maestro cams off the board, and they're pretty effective in doing that. Yeah,
with the Ashe being open there for Iron to jump straight on, he's going to be able to deal with any evil eyes that he so wishes. Seeing Kamikaze bringing the Clash isn't something that we've seen work too well this evening. I'd be interested to see where he does play this. He is going to 6-pick out of that onto a castle, which I would suggest is a much safer bet. But Iron also going to switch over onto sort of, I guess it could be seen as maybe Ashe 2.0 Zofia. It's kind of the hybrid of the original operator Ashe. So we're going to see a slight bit of a switch there as well. But Zofia is surely going to be capable of dealing with any castle barricades that she should need to.
Definitely. I'm really not sure how I feel about that Maestro cam that Psycho just put down in the hallway. It gives good vision, and you know, this is a Billiards defense, and typically teams will go to VIP, they'll open the wall from VIP, and they'll cut off the rotate from Billiards, and they'll go for an Aquarium take. Him putting down that Maestro cam means they're going to know when that starter comes down, and they do have a pulse on the board, a good nitro from below. But my big concern here is that Mira has made it through the ban phase, and not only is Mira a great operator for this particular map, Julio is an insanely good Mira. Probably, I don't know, maybe the best Mira in the world. I would say, I got a bit berated for that yesterday. I would say potentially top five Miras.
You know, it's an operator that you think of Julio, you think of Mira, you can remember some of the clutch plays that he's had with that operator. So it's really key, and like you say, you don't really ever see a Mira getting through on coastline anyway. So to see it getting in with Julio, who's so proficient on the Mira as well, it really just doesn't seem to make all too much sense to let that through. They're going to have to have some sort of a plan as to how they're going to deal with that. You see there, GD just going to deploy some X-Karos onto one of the castle barricades. That's why these castle barricades are so great, because they just eat up so much utility. And if you've not got players in the or operators in the right location to deal with them, you have to end up using things like X-Karos to deal with them. And it just really, you know, runs down your options when you come in later on into the round.
It definitely does, but we're going to see how it does go down as we move into round number one's action phase. We're still seeing Nip put down reinforcements at this stage. I really don't enjoy that, but we are going to see GDN slowly start to open up stuff, and he's going to open up the Billiards wall already. That is really quick movement coming out.
Yeah, I really like seeing the wall being opened from the skylight like that, or the atrium area in the middle, the courtyard, whatever you want to call it. It just makes it so uncomfortable for the players to be able to play in the site. And we've also seen how powerful that little corner can be to deny the plant with a smoke. You know, you can be able to, you know, really keep the push coming out of Aquarium from there for quite some time. But we're going to see an early pick there. GD just managing to pick up the Pulse. So Pulse is going to, well, Pulse would have probably been providing quite a lot of information on the heartbeat scanner, and of course having a C4 would have been fairly crucial. If the plant does actually come down at this point, he would be able to cause some sort of denial for that. Psycho pretty convinced that someone's out there on Blue Curtain, but not quite managing to find the head of Panico, but he manages to find it there, and he is going to be able to pick up that kill. 4 versus 4, moving into the final minute.
What an insane shot coming out from Psycho, just wide peeking out. He takes down the Thatcher. That's not a massive amount of utility off the board, but it is utility nonetheless. That could affect the push coming through because Maestro cams are not being dealt with. Billiards window is not open right now. It's not looking good for Black Dragons, but Iblex will find a kill. There we go, Wag is going to go down, but Psycho's still playing around this mirror. He's still shutting down all of this. Oh my god, that was so aggressive from both teams right now. And Psycho still holding it down where he can. The Buck does open up from below. He's going to be able to peek out the mirror window, but oh my god, Psycho through the smoke! He takes off Hugzod, and now it's a 3v2. This is actually looking really good for Nip because the Diffuser's going down. Oh, but Julio with the Nitro, he takes him down. Diffuser does go down regardless. It's now a 2v1. Iblax is below, doing work on the Buck. Julio trying to move up. The Buck is just below. He's just doing work here. And he's going to be able to cover the Diffuser going down. Ion is still holding down from Luggage. Julio not in a great position. He's going to try and stick the plant, but he can't find an angle. Iblax is below, and Julio can't deal with him. And oh my god, how does Julio not go down? But there we go. Ion will peek out Luggage. He will go down, and what an insane first round. Oh my god.
Black Dragons did a really good job there of getting the plant down and having a good setup post-plant to be able to deal with that. The mirror was so crucial, and Psycho playing off it, just managing to control that recoil, literally providing that suppressive fire for so long, and finally managing to find a head through the smoke. Very, very impressive play from him, but ultimately it wasn't enough. The plant went down, and Black Dragons were well placed to defend that post-plant, and I think Julio had a pretty tall order there if he was going to look to get 2 kills and get a defuse off.
I think a lot of that really just came down to the fact that the pulse went down very, very early, and Iblax was able to get in below, just open up everything below. This is the real crux of bringing Mirror on Coastline, is that while, yes, it's very effective and it does make a lot of sites very viable, Coastline is one of those maps that you have a huge amount of vertical play available to you, and Mirror really does suffer here from that.
Yeah, it's a very good point. It doesn't really matter where you play the mirror, you're always going to be susceptible to that vertical play, like you say. Buck is a staple pick for any coastline attack, so it's no surprise that we're seeing him picked again from Iblax. Iblax did some great work. I really enjoyed how when the plant was down, he just started opening up the entire of that billiards room floor and just made it very, very difficult there for Julio to be able to get anything going. But Nip have chosen to go to the same bomb site yet again. I'm not too sure about that decision. I don't think they were too far off. I know we often talk about teams liking to go to a bomb site twice before they kind of, try somewhere else. I just think there's another couple of options really on coastline that they could be going, maybe down to Blue Bar and Sunrise. If you've got the mirror available, that can sometimes be a better site to defend.
Yeah, definitely. Going to move through into round number 2. We see a fairly similar setup coming out from Ninja's Pyjamas here. A lot of this does come down to if Ninjas can play their pulse better and if they could shut down the Buck immediately coming through, because otherwise they're just going to lose control, they're going to lose map control, and they're going to lose those mirrors very, very quickly, exactly what happened last time.
Yeah, they're going to need to have some sort of a presence downstairs to be able to deal with Iblax, because if he's allowed to operate, and you can see now that he's sat down there droning out Blue Bar, making sure that his coast is clear, if you will, to push on in and do some good work down there. We've also got some support drones coming through from Zafir. Just going to be cooking a grenade now, and that's going to be used to detonate just onto the the floor of billiards, or the ceiling of Blue. Doesn't quite manage it with that one. The throw just manages to hit something else. So he's wasted a little bit of his utility there, but it's caused some decent damage and a little bit of decent disruption. Julio's actually down at this point, and Ion is going to take out the mirror. So Mirror no longer going to be allowed to play on, I believe it was Cool Vibes that Julio was playing the mirror on there, just peeking on into Hooker Deck, as Kamikaze now is going to have to start thinking about rotating back to the site to make sure that he doesn't leave his team short. Psycho is going to pick up a kill in the meantime from Maestro, and he's going to be taking out the Ash there.
Yeah, doing very well indeed with that as we move into a 4v4, but already losing on Mirror and losing Julio off the board so early on. That's pretty devastating. The fact that now we've started to lose map control, but there is still a pulse on the board, and he has still got map control downstairs, but Buck is still doing work in Blue. Pino has not been able to contest this at all. Black Dragons are doing so well on this map so far to just tear them apart. Don't forget, Coastline is their map pick as well, so we're kind of expecting them to be a bit more confident here.
Yeah, Black Dragons, it's just how they're allowing Iblax to operate relatively freely, but at this point, there's only 2 Nitros left on the board now, having, well, only 1 Nitro left on the board now. There would have been 3 at the start of the round with Julio, so Pino was probably really trying to keep hold of his Nitro there to try and deny any sort of a plant, and didn't want to risk his life to challenge in the Buck. Psycho going to go for a run out there and get punished by a Claymore. Iblax going to pick up a kill of his own. Wag trading one out onto Panico, all now down to Wag in these final few seconds. He's only 1 bullet of health, 1 versus 3. The Diffuser is is certainly going to start going down very shortly as we're in the final 20 seconds. Wag's got a big job here. He's got the SMG-11 and the shotgun. There's vertical control from iBlack's. GDN going to pick up his 3rd kill of the round, and that's going to be all she wrote.
Yeah, Black Dragons take round number 2 in a very similar fashion to how they took the first round, but this time they picked Julio immediately. But again, just making all this setup and utility from Nip completely useless with the fact that they're just getting in below so early on. Nip completely unable to contest that. Maybe I would like to see from them if they go for this defense again, which doesn't look like they're going to do, so following the same pattern that pretty much every other team does take, sorry, as, yeah, they're actually going to go kitchen service entrance. But I would like to see a little bit more vertical play coming out from Nip. They have the ability to open up themselves, and they are going to take the double shotgun here, I assume.
I think you're right in what you say. That I don't believe that trying Billiards and Hooker was the right decision to try it again straight away, because they just lost it so convincingly the first time, and they didn't do anything to adapt or deal with the way that Black Dragons were pushing it. And it was almost the same story. Black Dragons were allowed to push underneath, get an early pick, get some vertical control, and it just makes it so uncomfortable to be on the site there. You can see that Pino is going to invest a little bit of resource upstairs in Theatre and Penthouse. Obviously just trying to hold that area off, because again, the vertical control can be oh so important. I'm surprised we don't see more book bans on Coastline. I think it'd be a little bit of a off pick, because you'd be opening, you know, you'd either be opening up a Glaz or a Ying, but I think it could really do some good work.
It could do some good work indeed. We'll see round number 3 getting underway, and we'll see exactly how Nip want to take this. They are bringing the dock in. I like the dock pick here for the bulletproof cam, most importantly, but I feel like you just bring the Maestro here and you can have pretty much the same effect.
I think the Maestro is more important than the dock, but it's all just down to personal preference at the end of the day. Some people really like the MP5, some people not so keen on the Alder, even though it is an absolute beast. And obviously the stim pistols on dock are going to provide just a little bit of comfort if you do need to revive at range, or just boost your teammate up just a little bit. Pino going to be playing over in VIP, trying to get a bit of an idea as to where this push is going to be coming from. He's going to get a mark on somebody over near Hooker Deck. So they're going to be pretty sure this is, you know, they're going to try and push through Hooker, get control of Hooker Deck. Could even be people playing on the roof. And the roof is always an area that the attackers do love to play. Psycho going to open things up with an important opening kill there onto iBlack's. Ion going to get one back of his own onto Wag. Ion has taken a lot of damage for his troubles there. 2 big kills coming out there. We've lost the Book and we've lost the Smoke. Both very important operators, not the kind of operators you want to be losing so early on. Ion going to get reset there, just getting shot through the wall by GDN so he doesn't get killed. And Ion going to be back up on 50% health.
Yeah, they're doing quite well with themselves to just try and get quick control where they do go through. Round number 3, not looking too good for Nip, because they've already lost their Smoke, and that's a pretty big pick. Even though Black Dragons have now, you know, they've lost their Burk, and that could, you say, it does affect the vertical play. I was just about to say the Dokkaebi could have done a really good job there of opening up vertical play on our home with the SMG-12 and putting out smokes and logic bombs, but that's a massive amount of utilities that have just gone down, as he's going to get picked up for free by Psycho, doing very well for his team there. And now it's a 4v3. Black Dragons are kind of scrambling for a better attack here. They're not able to find it just yet.
It looks as though Nip are pretty comfortable on this attack. They're not really peeking too much. They're not overexposing themselves, which isn't something that they need to do at this stage. Like you say, the utility that Black Dragons have got left, it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to push through into the site. That Dokkaebi going down has really scuppered the plans at this point, because there's going to be no smokes left to kind of get in under the cover of. The mirror windows, however, are going to have some X-Kairos on, but I think there's a nice little mute jammer place there, which is going to make the job just a little bit different. Both those mirrors closed as well, which is always interesting to see. Possibly one going to get open later on if a kill is an option through on. But at the minute, they're just providing a good amount of intel, as Julio's got a good idea as to where the push is coming from. Psycho picking up a kill onto GDN. Julio getting pushed in the site. Ion getting that kill, and Kamikaze trading it straight back out. All now down to Panico as the plant is going down. And I'm not sure that Kamikaze is actually aware of this at this point. So the diffuser has gone down in this situation, and I'm pretty surprised that Panico was let to get it down, but Psycho is not phased one little bit. He's going to find Panico's head, get the defuse. That's going to be the first round for Ninjas in Pyjamas on Coastline.
A pretty good attack coming out from Black Dragons there, but they didn't really achieve their earlier objectives, like to try and get VIP control. That was completely in Nip's favor pretty much the entire round, and maybe wasted mirrors there, although I kind of like that mirror rather than putting mirror on the rotate, because if that gets opened, it doesn't really give anything to the attackers if it gets opened up from above. It can only really give things to defenders.
Do you think that the Black Dragons got a little bit debated there with the bomb site choice?
No, I think they probably figured it was going to go somewhere else. Kitchen service entrance is normally a pretty default one to take. It's either that or billiards. So I don't think it was a bad choice. I don't think there was any kind of like debate or anything going out there just yet. But Black Dragons definitely were struggling to deal with the roam game from Ninjas, which, you know, previously they'd done pretty well with. But I think it was more because Ninjas only had one person on the roam here. And I hope either they play vertical play this time here on billiards, or they play more roamers.
Well, they've not brought the castle this time, so their attention could certainly be focused elsewhere. We've got Psycho jumping onto the Legion. Psycho on 7 kills, so he's doing his best for his team at the moment. The rest of his team on either 1 or 0 kills. So Psycho really coming up clutch at the moment, choosing to go onto the Legion, and hopefully he's going to be able to get some goo mines downstairs, get an idea of where Iblax is going to be pushing on that bug, and get that early pick. That early pick last time really contributed quite heavily as to where the round ended up going.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. But we're going to move through into round number 4, and we'll see exactly how it's going to go down. As you see, Ninjas and Pyjamas still unable to find a defense round on billiards. Let's see if they can do it this time on their 3rd attempt. But this, as you said, it kind of all just comes down to if Iblax can just get down there and he can just start doing work on the book, because every time he's been able to do that, he's been tearing apart the defense, especially the mirror windows. But there's no Maestro this time, and I think this is because they're trying to get more people in roam. And Psycho playing offers, this is a really powerful position for Elysian to play. And a lot of people don't like Elysian roam, but this can actually work out very, very well for you.
Yeah, conservative Legion roam can be very powerful, especially if he's in a location where he knows he's going to get pushed, and he's able to, you know, he's got a player playing off him as well there, with Kamikaze playing down in service. So it's not going to be a bad place for him to be playing, but I think it's actually the Pulse, sorry. So it was Pino that was going to get pushed there into servers. Nice push there coming out from Panico. Kills coming through pretty quickly there, and Hugzord is going to get the kill onto Psycho. So very quickly that's turned into a 4 versus 2. It was looking really good for Nip at one stage, but you can't argue with that push from Black Dragons. They were just able to get really good crossfires, really good pincer movements onto the defenders that are playing downstairs, and easily take them apart, all within the first half of the round. So Black Dragons now got a lot of time to play with. They really don't need to rush this. They can take the time, get into some drones, and really figure out how they're going to do this. Guy on Repel, Hugzord is going to get his head taken off by Julio. Julio making that super aggressive wide peek there, and you can't fault him at this stage. He really needs to be doing something pretty spectacular to get this man advantage back. That's the kill that they need.
Yeah, in a 4v2, you just really need to start taking gunfights, and Julio will find a pretty good one for himself. And that's actually going to be diffuser down outside of Aquarium as well, so that's a really good pick coming out from Julio. He's just going to stand behind the shield. It looks like he's getting ready to throw a Nitro out onto Luggage or on the Aquarium balcony. GDN's drone is going to come through to see what exactly is happening here in this situation. Oh my god, the flashbangs go down, but the ADS catches the boat. Nitro goes out, Wag takes down GDN as he moves all the way in. Wag tries to push up, but does get picked up on the flank by Panico. It's all down to Julio in a 1v1. He will pick up Iblax and just retreat all the way through onto Luggage. He does have control of Diffuser. Panico doesn't really have time to retreat around, so a few charges will go down. Desperately trying to find Julio, but he's going to be taking a prone angle, but there we go. Panico finds a much better angle than he does. He takes him down, and Black Dragons take round number 4. Very, very well done here from Panico especially. Look at that.
I feel really, really like, I think that, well, what I'm trying to say is that I think Nip were so close to that round. I think it's so disappointing that they just couldn't quite manage to clutch it out. The way that they adapted and the way that they dropped the castle pick, chose a different operator, and roamed downstairs, it just really seemed to work well for them. We're going to see them go down to Blue Bar now. They can't go back up to billiards. It was really close last round, but ultimately they've lost 3 rounds there now, and that's quite a lot. But you know, you talked about it earlier about Coastline. It is an attacker-favored map, so we'll have to see what happens at the halfway point.
Yeah, we definitely will. We're going to move through into round number 5. Black Dragon's looking very, very good right now, and this is looking insanely attacker-sided, but I think Ninjas are defeating themselves at this point. They've just been constantly unable to deal with Iblax. down below, and he's been able to tear up the defense. And every single round, defenders have had to move out of positions that they're favorable in into positions where they're getting caught out in crossfires. And it's happened all the time. And then when we had a more aggressive roam game coming out from Ninjas, they recognized they need to shut down iBlacks. They got shut down themselves. They got put into the same crossfires, just on a different level this time. And some good, really good trading coming out from Black Dragons. Ninjas, not so much.
Yeah, you really can't argue with how Black Dragons are playing as a team. We commented on it earlier, the way that they're able to execute these pinches. They're really rooting out the defenders and making it very uncomfortable for them to play. So you just can't argue with that. And sometimes on a map like Coastline, it's very difficult to deal with that in any way as a defender, because there's nowhere really for you to go if you're going to give up a certain amount of control to the attackers, and they're going to be able to take it and then get a good pinch on you. There's not all too much you're going to be able to do, especially with all the utility that the attackers have at their disposal in terms of flash grenades and the operators that we see Black Dragons bringing here, especially Zafir. Zafir clutching the round up last time. It can just it can really make the difference.
Yeah, it definitely can make the difference indeed. But we are going to see round number 5 getting underway shortly. Spree fires are going to come out both sides, but Nip are going to be holding down fairly well. But again, I still feel like they're going to come under the same issue. And it's going to be all about if they kill this book or not early on. But I can't see iBlacks putting himself into a position where he's going to be able to get picked, because he's constantly on the flank watch until he's needed. He's never really making the entry himself.
No, iBlacks is playing it perfectly. He's usually got somebody that's droning for him. He usually does a little bit of drone work of his own. But it seems as though Nip aren't really giving them any option to get in and play vertically because of how well they're contesting, Sunrise Bar and upstairs in Hooker Deck. You can see, oh, nice kill there coming out from Psycho onto Ion. Ash going to lose his life within the first half of the round, so not too early on, but he's going to find another onto Hugzord as he peeks around the corner as well. Psycho is getting kills for fun through that back door. The grenade's going to come in from iBlacks. Great grenade. Perfectly timed. That's going to take out Psycho and remove him from that power position. Second grenade not going to find anybody, but iBlacks is there to play. He's opened up the whole wall. He's looking directly through a peak hole, and he manages to find the head of Wag. iBlacks is going off at this stage. It is 3 versus 3. No, make that 3 versus 2 as Panico picks up a kill onto Pino. Pino really struggling to get anything going. Panico making that a double and taking out Kamikaze. Once again, we're finding ourselves with Julio as the last defender alive. iBlacks has just been reset. The plant is certainly going to go down now. Julio's got a really tough job here. iBlacks, he's going to make it a triple. He's going to pick up the final kill of the round.
A definitely good round coming out from iBlacks, and just look at the way that his positioning came through there. He's playing the refrag role there. Like, 2 people pushed in through pool entrance and just immediately got shut down by Psycho. But then the nades come out. Then everything starts to come out from iBlacks. He starts to push around, and he gets multiple frags for his time. Doing very, very well indeed. But I still feel like iBlacks put himself in a bit of an aggressive position there. And if the frags hadn't come through from the Zofia as well, that could have been a different story coming out from Nip. I also really liked that angle from Julio, where he opened up the floor just a little bit next to the reinforcement, and he was holding a very tight angle. But it's actually be Julio himself who swaps through onto the alibi. I actually really like that stick pick, even though that mirror is very powerful here. It's not working for Nip because there's just this abusive Buck who's tearing them apart right now and kind of making Mirror a little bit useless.
It is funny as, we speak of the power of Mirror and how important she is as an operator, but iBlacks has done a great job of just really making it quite a non-issue, and he's just shutting it down all the time. So it really does sort of ebb and flow as to which operators you're actually playing against or which players you're playing against and how they're able to deal with that. And like you say, iBlacks and Black Dragons in general have just been able to shut down the mirror totally. So Julio has obviously had enough of the 3 armor, and he's now going to go for the 3 speed, see if he can pick up any kills that way. I'm sure that Nip want to pick up another round on defense before they switch on to attack, but they shouldn't be too downbeat because, as we've said, this map can be a little bit attacker favored currently, especially with the lineups that they've got available to them today.
Yeah, they definitely should be able to go so well, but Psycho, so aggressive coming out from him. And that is very typical of the LATAM playstyle, but he is not going to go down for it, but does get very, very lit up already. This is looking interesting so far. This could be the final attack for Black Dragons as we move into round number 6's action phase. This has been looking very good for them, but I can't help but feel that when Ninjas go onto their attack, they're going to do the exact same thing.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen, and it's just down to the way that the map plays out at the moment. It really does seem to favour the attackers just a little bit, despite the fact that we've got the mirror. The difference will be is if Black Dragons are able to effectively deploy that mirror and use it without being sort of compromised in doing so. If they're able to deal with any sort of vertical play, and usually what you do find is that a player like Iblax that is very good at applying vertical pressure as an attacker can usually be very good at sort of dealing with vertical play as a defender as well and shutting down those vertical plays that the attackers may bring. So it sometimes works into it like that. You can see there he's wasting no time opening some holes in VIP. He's certainly he's sure that somebody's up there, and he's put some good damage there onto Kamikaze.
Yeah, he has been able to do some very big damage indeed. Kamikaze going to be playing around onto Circle. This is not looking too good for him so far. He's getting pushed out from DJ, and drones are going to come out as well. Kamikaze still playing very aggressive. It's going to be Julio picks up the first kill of the round. GDN already out of it. That's the only hard breacher available, which otherwise on Coastline normally wouldn't be a big deal. But on this particular attack, on Dependence Theater, that is almost a disaster coming out from Black Dragons.
It is the only objective on the whole map that really quite relies heavily on a hard breach, and to lose GDN at any point in the round is going to be a real loss of utility. Julio there proving that his jumping on the 3-speed has definitely worked for him as well, just by being able to pick up that kill. It's a really important kill to get. Panico going to get Kamikaze. Kamikaze has wasted a hell of a lot of time there in VIP, and he'll surely be happy with what he's been able to do so far for his team. As we move into the final 45 seconds of the round, WAG is going to be deploying some smoke canisters into Hall of Fame. I mean, the hard breach almost not being an issue, seeing as they've opened up the wall into VIP so heavily, but still got players playing it. Pino outside in VIP hallway, just keeping a trained eye on the Hall of Fame, just making sure that no one's able to come through the door. And I quite like that. By reinforcing the outside of VIP, they're able to get some more control. But WAG's going to get a nice kill. He's going to make that a double as he gets 3 pumps into Panico with the shotgun, but not before he gets a nice flick on the hatch and finds somebody else instead. Hugzord is going to get him because he does know where he is at that stage, playing tight in the showers, but it's going to make it very difficult now for Black Dragons to get the plan down. Julio going to pick up one, Psycho going to pick up another. Much better round there from Ninjas in Pyjamas on defense, and that's going to be their last round on defense. So, you know, a good way to finish it, finishing it out on a win there.
Yeah, Ninja's definitely doing well to bring it back. That is a 4-2 scoreline, and I think that's what most people would expect from a typical Coastline game, a 4-2. But Ninjas, it's all up to them to start taking attack rounds here and proving they can be just as dangerous on the attack as Black Dragons can be. Let's move into round number 7 and see exactly how Ninjas are going to take their attack half. What do you think of this lineup?
I mean, we've seen what the castle does, and I'm really not too keen on it on Hooker. I just don't know that it provides... When you bring in operators like Ash and Zafir, it's just so easy to deal with that castle barricade. I just don't know that it provides all that much value, but I really like the Ninjas in Pyjamas lineup. I think that's going to do them very well. I quite like the Dockerby. I think that's a good introduction.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Yeah, it could be. I can't help but feel that they're bringing the Dockerby as the counter here to the Maestro. And I mentioned this a bunch yesterday, that she's not really a counter against Maestro because, well, not really a direct one, because when you put that logic bomb down, dead people can still get on there on the camera. It doesn't affect people who are dead. So, you know, maybe if you're expecting everyone to be alive at that point when you're putting Logic Bomb down, then yes, it's good. But, you know, we'll see how it does go down, as we'll see round number 7 getting underway. And we will see deployable shields going down in Aquarium. We'll see pretty typical mirror windows going down as well.
I think there's definitely scope to play this bomb site without the mirror. We saw it not really work all too well for Ninjas in Pyjamas. So it's not that I'm surprised that Iblax has brought the mirror, but I'd certainly think they could have got away without it and maybe switched it out for a Legion. But having said that, if you're going to play the castle, I would prefer to see the Legion anyway. So there's certainly different options there. I'm sure there's good reason as to why they have brought the mirror, because it does make playing off Hooker into Billiards a little bit more viable. And especially with the introduction of the castle barricade, it is just going to slow them down on that push to Aquarium. The operator that I'm really interested in this time is going to be Pino on Buck. He's struggled to get anything going on the defense. I think he's still sat on 0 kills. He's done some really good work tonight on Buck so far, and I'd like to see how he gets himself in. You can see he's just droning himself in there now. let's see what destruction he can cause now, because they've been having it done to them all game so far. Ooh, Psycho, they're going to pick up a nice kill off the curtain onto Hugzord, and Kamikaze going to get one onto Iron as well. So straight off the rip, it is looking very good for Nip at this stage.
Yeah, they're doing really well to tear apart the defense right now, but just looking at where the runouts should be coming through from Panico, it seems to be a late response, and it seems just like Black Dragons don't really have any intel on what's going on here. Of course, no Valkyrie because she's banned. This is making it very hard, and there's no pulse as well. I think Panico is getting ready to go for a run out onto the deck or onto the purple curtain, but no one's playing around there at all, and this is kind of just wasted space from Panico right now, as looks like the book is going to start getting stuff open from below. Logic Bomb is going to get deployed. Black Dragons are going to start getting pushed out here slowly but surely, as utility starting to slowly get deployed by Ninjas in Pyjamas. Looks like they are going to go for an aquarium take. If you can see where the book is as well, he is in offices right now, and Panico should be able to shut him down.
Panico there with a single bullet hole, doesn't quite manage to land his shots as Book just manages to hit prone in the nick of time. Impact Grenade is going to come out, and that's probably going to distract Pino a little bit, but Panico, he's not in a great position here because he can't play this all too aggressively. He's going to get the wallbang and take some really good damage away, but doesn't quite manage to find the kill shot. Kamikaze is going to take out Panico as he is too distracted on trying to get the kill on the Book. 5 versus 2 now. This is looking really good for Ninjas in Pyjamas. All they've got to do now in these final 45 seconds is try and apply a bit more pressure, and that pressure is coming now in the form of a Logic Bomb call from Dockerby. It's going to make it very difficult on the side. They're going to have to start answering the phones, or Ninjas in Pyjamas are going to have a very good idea of their whereabouts. Psycho going to pick up the kill onto Iblax. Wag going to finish things off with a kill onto GDN, and that's going to be all she wrote for that round. Ninjas in Pyjamas picking up another attacking round. Yeah, they're looking pretty good for themselves right now, as we will see. Round number 8 getting underway. Nip finding their first round on attack, and definitely setting the precedent here, because Black Dragons, they did the exact same thing to Ninjas when they were on the attack. So I think we're seeing a little bit of a pattern here now. But it's going to be all about how Ninjas can capitalize on this. That was a very dominant round coming out from them, and I want to say that Black Dragons, again, the same problem that Ninjas had, didn't really have the intel that they needed to react appropriately to the attack. And you can see that Panico was kind of wasting a lot of time there down in Sunrise. He could have had a little bit of positioning, maybe to try and play a little bit more aggressively, rather than playing passively and waiting for runouts to come down. But I'm still not sure, like, because Panico was doing the right thing, but with the wrong intel. I think they were just waiting to, like you say, they were trying to get that run out, they were trying to get that big pick that was going to really shift it into their favor, but ultimately it didn't quite play out like that. This game, well, this map, sorry, is all going to be won and lost on who ends up winning more defensive rounds. Obviously, Nip were able to pick up 2. If Nip are able to capitalize on their attack now, and you know they start to turn the tide, they could quite easily run away with this, because as we've seen so far, it has just been so attacker favored up to this point. Yeah, it's definitely Black Dragons to lose. We'll see exactly how they're going to go about doing that. As we see a Penthouse and Theatre defense coming out. This is one of the only defenses where I think that this favors the defenders so much, and I'm so surprised that it's not taken more on Coastline, but I think it's more because players aren't used to having, and particularly teams when they make their strats, they're not used to having a mirror on Coast, and I think that teams just won't go here because it's such a bad sight when you don't have the mirror, but when you do, it becomes pretty much like a default. It's strange, isn't it? Teams have got so used to preparing for not having a mirror that when the mirror gets thrown into the mix, it sometimes isn't very impactful at all, because the team hasn't really got a clear idea of how they want to play it and incorporate it into anything else that they're trying to do in that bomb site as well. And it's almost like things can either get a little bit too default or get a little bit confusing if they're trying to introduce multiple things. So I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing Black Dragons here just dropping the mirror pick maybe, and trying to pick somebody else, like we've said. I mean, I'm not sure who else they would choose in this scenario. They could perhaps take a mute and try and shut down a little bit of the drone work and aid the roamers a little bit. Well, Julio picked up the alibi, remember, and he did pretty well with that. So, wow. Great shot coming out from Iblax already. And as we talk about Julio, Cass's Curse comes through and Hard Breacher down already. And this is the exact same thing that happened last time, is that the Hard Breacher went down immediately from Black Dragons' attack, and they just fell apart after that, because as we said, this is really only one of the sites, especially when there's a mirror available. Oh my god, Iblax, how does he do it? He just takes him down instantly, Psycho off the board. And that's the top fragger gone from Ninjas in Pyjamas. Now it's a 3v5. Iblax still looking to contest,
with this Legion T5 SMG. But why picks up 1 onto Panico? It's not all over yet for Ninjas, but they are starting to look pretty bad.
Yeah, Ninjas are definitely faltering here. That early pick that they suffered from Julio really didn't do them any favours, and just Iblax being allowed to operate like that within the site and the players of NiP are still peeking it is just a little bit strange. I'd like to see the book get in a little bit further, maybe before we start seeing attackers peeking that heavily onto the site, because it was relatively early on, really. I mean, I know we're into the final minute now, but ultimately that first pick came out very, very early, and now you can see some smoke grenades are going to be deployed, and that's going to make things even harder for Ninjas in Pyjamas to make anything work here. Kamikaze is going to be very wary of peeking onto that window, as Iblax has had some success on there earlier, although he is holding a different angle now onto Hall of Fame, and it's going to be Hugzord that's going to be waiting to peek out onto the mirror, but Iblax is going to peek as well. He does manage to put some shots in, but doesn't quite manage to make a kill shot happen, and I think that the plan could start to go down in a couple of seconds, but no, Pino is going to pick up the kill onto Iblax. That's going to open things up a bit. Hugzord getting the nitro kill as that comes out, moving into the final 14 seconds. GDN picks up the shotgun, and he's going to be able to take down the diffuser. That's a big kill at that point. Black Dragons, they're going to come away with that round.
Great defense coming out from Blood Dragons, but again, can't help but feel that was going exactly the same way when Blood Dragons attacked here. That Harbreacher goes down really early to a great early peak, and Iblax was just constantly contesting everything there. He did a great job of picking two really important kills coming out. So, but you know, Harbreacher going down, normally that's not the end of the world on Coastline, but on that particular site, it really is. Unfortunately, we are going to have a rehost here. So it looks like we are going to just wrap up things here, and we're going to be getting back into the game as quickly as possible. Just really weird stuff coming out there from both teams, but Coastline definitely not too comfortable for the attacks from either side here.
It's something that we've best of 3 series, so they're going to want to make take every advantage that they can to get this first map on the board for themselves.
Definitely. So we are going to go through into round number 9. This is looking pretty good so far for Black Dragons because they've managed to find 1 round on defense. We said that NiP found 2 rounds on defense. It's all about really who wins more defenses here. NiP have been looking pretty good. I still think there hasn't really been that much variation in strategy from either side, but thank God, we're actually going to see the Twitch coming out for the first time.
Julio there on the Twitch is going to be looking maybe to deal with the mirrors, as he is a very experienced mirror player himself. He's going to be more than aware of all the dodgy little angles that Twitch is going to be able to make away to those mirrors and potentially drop the glass. So I've no doubt that's probably one of the top things on his agenda for this round. But we are going to be getting underway very shortly. Love to see the Legion pick from Iblax. He's going to be playing upstairs and just making sure that no drones are going to be coming through from hook deck. Not sure if he's going to go for a bit of an aggressive run out here, or if he's just going to be doing a little bit of last-second drone hunting and then getting the goo mine out there to give him a bit of situational, awareness if anyone is going to be pushing on that angle onto hooker deck.
Yeah, definitely. So we are going to go through. It is going to be round number 9. It's looking very even across the board, I would say, because if Black Dragons find 1 more defense, then they've found the same amount of defense rounds that Ninjas in Pyjamas did, but the only defense they found so far is Penthouse Theater, which, as you said, has had a 100% success rate so far on defense. I think that's mainly come down to the pick that's come out on the Havana both times, but yeah, it's now going to be much more difficult for Black Dragons to move onto different sides. It's still very interesting that Julio's actually picked the Twitch here. You think it's for the mirror windows, but I think he's picking it partly for the gun, honestly. There's been a lot of missed gunfights from Ninjas so far.
We've talked about it last game. Twitch's F2, it is one of the best weapons in the game in terms of recoil, in terms of damage and fire rate. It really does shred through every single defender. So yeah, you definitely could be right in that, and maybe it's just a little bit of a bonus that the shock drone's going to be there as well. Psycho going to take a really nice kill there onto Iblax. Legion out of the picture at about 1 minute and 20 seconds into the round, so there's not going to be all too many goo mines out there. He might have 3 or 4 if he is lucky, but that's going to be quite a large utility loss at this point. Legion, of course, with the impacts as well for any last-minute rotations that he may wish to make. So a bit of a big loss there for Black Dragons, and that's going to give Ninjas in Pyjamas a good chance at taking this round.
Look at this as well, because the book is repelling outside. he has a great opportunity to rappel up to the to the top and nade Cool Vibes, because there's a smoke playing Cool Vibes right now. But the GDM's going to retreat down there. But there's exactly opportunities like that that Ninjas cannot afford to miss.
It's about having the intel in the moment to act upon that, and I think that's the tough bit. But we're going to see a straight trade there. Psycho for Panico both killing each other out, and GDN is playing on the stairs on Cool Vibes, and you're probably screaming for a grenade to come down, but I don't think that it is going to happen. The Dockerby calls have been raining in, and she's still got one left. Dockerby there, just putting some shots down as she was trying to get a kill maybe onto anyone playing over in blue bar, but it was a bit difficult to see. She's going to chain her calls together here and going to send another one straight away after the first one has finished. Hugsword just narrowly missing out on, I believe it's Ion playing in Kitchen. Ooh, Pino going to get punished there by Ion, so it's going to leave us into a 4 versus 2. This is looking very good for Ninjas in Pyjamas at this stage. GDN going to get a kill onto Wag, traded straight out from Julio. Another kill going to come through from Kamikaze. That's going to be a round on the board for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, and they've been doing very well so far with it. Coastline is looking very much their map on the attack, and I said that I think that NiP are just going to turn around on the attack. They're going to do the exact same thing that Black Dragons were just doing, and this is definitely looking much more into their favor. We're going to go back to Billy's defense here for Black Dragons. They are bringing the castle along with them. You're not been a fan of the castle here?
I don't know, it's just personal preference, isn't it? I'd like the Legion, but the castle didn't work for them last time. Ninjas in Pyjamas managed to win Billiards last time. It was the first round that they attacked. So I think you've got to go through some sort of iteration, some sort of change. I think something that's working really well at the minute is, despite the fact that we called for Wag maybe to be going on the shield, I think the Dockerby calls and the logic bomb there came in really clutch at the end, just allowed him to be, well, allowed the whole team to be able to push in and take control of the site.
Yeah, it does. I still think that the Monty would be a decent play from Wag, just as also just how he was playing it on Clubhouse. He was completely tearing Liquid apart because of it. I mean, even towards the end, they still hadn't caught on to what he was doing, where he unshields, he goes for the hit buy, and then he reshields immediately before you can even deal with him. So Monty's putting out damage from a very safe position, and there's not really a lot you can do against him unless you start with Crossfire. That hasn't been happening so far, but the main thing I want to point out here is there's only one Nitro, and there's only 3 smokes coming out from Black Dragons. They don't really have a lot to deal with a Monty if it did come out.
That's got to be something that NiP are conscious of, and it's something that they should surely, you know, be looking at trying to adapt and overcome. Because if they acknowledge that there's only one Nitro coming out, surely they can bring them on to the next round. There's no Legion coming out either, so they're all good things to do with the Monty. If Black Dragons aren't bringing them, bring the Monty and give it a go. But ultimately, they don't really need to change all too much, because they did win this last round on attack when they attacked this site. So all they've got to do is the same again, and I'm sure, you know, they'll get a very similar result.
Yeah, they should be able to do. And again, this same mirror window going down from Iblex, I still really like this mirror window, because it gives you a lot of control. It gives you the same thing you would rotate would give, because you can open it up and make a vault hole as well, because he's put it down right at the very bottom. So there's still big advantage. I can see what you mean about it, but I can't see where else this mirror would even go down, honestly.
That's one of the things about mirrors. Sometimes it's worthwhile to keep one in your back pocket and not use it, because if it gets taken over or gets placed in a location where it's not really adding anything, they can sometimes work heavily against your favour. But yeah, I do like the mirrors they're playing out here, and especially the one into Hooker that's looking all the way through into Billiards. And it'll have a small angle behind the bomb into Aquarium as well. But the push does seem to be coming from Aquarium, as one of the mirror windows is actually going to get opened from below. That's going to be Pino doing some good work on the book, just making sure that the mirror isn't going to be an option for watching any sort of plan that could be looking to go down from the Aquarium area. But GDN is well placed with smoke, just ready to smoke the corner of the wall and deny the default plant spot. But he's going to be getting a little bit of pressure from below from Pino, as Kamikaze comes in now with some lifelines from Zafir and maybe looks to make a bit of a push and pick up their kill. Smoke grenades have got to be imminent now, as GDM really needs to do something to start slowing this push down. There's still 10 players on the map.
Yeah, he also managed to destroy the Maestro cam that was behind the Billiards table as well. So in a pretty good position for himself, and Black Dragons have started to lose a lot of their utility. They've lost the mirror window, they've lost the Maestro cam. They're just going to have to try and get aggressive off of this to try and stop the push from going down. Ideally, honestly, this is where Monty would be really good for the push. But there we go, Psycho could have picked up a kill regardless of that. Great entry kill coming out from him. That's a mirror off the board, but no, more importantly, that's the Nitro gone already. Smokes are going to come down from GDN. again. This is not looking too good coming out from Black Dragons. They're using utility already, and the Diffuser is going to go down. But Black Dragons do pick up 2 kills on the way, but it's a 4v3. Diffuser is down. Remember, this is a post-plant situation. Ninjas are just rotating all the way around to try and cover it, but Hookzord, he moves all the way up. He gets Kamikaze. 4v2, the nade is getting prepped. Pino throws it out. That could be a good kill, but no, from below. It's going to be Panico who takes him down. It's all down to Wang to try and deny this Diffuser getting destroyed. He's going to push all the way up. He gets 1 kill. Can he find another? No, he can't find it. He's going to push all the way around into the hallway, but he can't find the kill still. He pulls out the MK14. He's desperately trying to find the kill, but he desperately can't find it. He pushes all the way up, but no! Black Dragons will stick it, and they will disable the Diffuser. They take round number 10, and they put themselves on match point. Oh my god.
What an unfortunate post-plant position for NiP to find themselves in there. I'm not sure how, but Pino was outside, just ready to throw a nade up into double window, which wouldn't have been a bad idea, but Black Dragons really weren't concerned with the Diffuser because there was loads of time. They knew that all they had to do was set themselves up and, you know, not really bunch up and do all the right things in that situation when you're kind of trying to not to panic, I guess. But yeah, Pino was outside and then he vaults in, and it was a really clutch kill from Panico downstairs in Blue Bar, because if Pino was allowed to get in there and start opening up some floor and maybe add another grenade, I'm not sure, it could have been a different story, but you really can't fault the defuse there from Black Dragons.
Yeah, no, I think that Ninjas played the post plant really badly though, because they all split up immediately. Like, if you're going to do that, if you're going to completely abandon the Diffuser like that, then I don't think Zofia should still play Aquarium, because she's going to get traded and you're still going to be at a man deficit. So potentially could have played that a little bit better. I like that Pino did go below, but you know, Panico just completely outplayed him. He went below as well. He got that pickup, and after that, I just don't see how they recover the round at all.
This is a big round for Black Dragons at this stage, because we've seen it before. Penthouse and Theatre, this has been won every single time on defense to this point. There's been some nice early picks on hard breaches from both sides. Let's see what they've got in store for us. If Black Dragons win this, it's going to go to our next map, which is of course Border. And then we've got the decider as Clubhouse. So they're really going to want to make a good showing here. And if they can pick up this first map on Coastline, I think it'll stand them in very good stead. It seems as though Hookzord has managed to find a third mirror window to make good use of as a small little spectator bug there. But Iblack's going to be just making sure that no one comes into Hooker without him knowing about it, as he places some goo mines down on his way, rotating back to the site. Black Dragons need to play this very conservatively, because there has been a couple of rounds going to the attack. This is historically throughout this match been quite a defender favoured site. All they need to do is not peek anything. If they don't peek anything, they don't overexpose themselves. You know, they need to wait for NiP to start making some mistakes on this push, and then they can capitalise on them, because, you know, NiP are certainly going to be wanting to win this round. They don't want to have to take this to 3 maps. Neither team do, I'm sure. So let's see what they have in store as we hit around about the 2-minute mark on what's been probably one of the more slower rounds yet. But I think that's probably just because of how much is at stake on this particular round. Yeah,
there is a lot at stake here. In particular, Ninjas still pretty much playing the exact same lineup they have been bringing. It's not a bad lineup. I still think that just bringing something different here would really just shake stuff up. But a Penthouse Theatre with a mirror and with playing the Maestro at 90 could be good. But Black Dragons are a very aggressive lineup here so far, just in terms of positioning coming out. I mean, you've got one playing 90, you've got the Jaeger playing in Billiards. You have a very split up, but very aggressive defense so far coming out from Black Dragons.
It's nice to see that they've managed to get the VIP wall open there, like you say. It does just provide that angle in, and I think Ivana is the best placed operator to do that. Pino, I'm not sure if Pino's still been struggling for a kill. We did stuff for a rehost, so I'm not sure if he did get a kill before the rehost, but he's not been having all too great of a game this far. I'm hoping for him to get underneath now and make some holes with Buck and make things very difficult for the defenders remaining on site. Panico just moving through security and trying to find a kill onto anyone that could be playing downstairs in kitchen. Somebody maybe like Pino who's looking for that vertical play. Panico really making sure he's checking all his corners, not going to be caught out by any drones on this late push. He is going to get drone there, and that is going to force him to just move back onto the sunroom and through into offices. Dockerby Call's going to come through, and GDN is going to start deploying his toxic bays now into the final 35 seconds, so pretty good time to use them, as the plant is surely imminent. as Kamikaze there going to pick up a nice opening kill, which is pretty late in the round to be picking up an opening kill with only 20 or so seconds left on the clock. Another flurry of kills are going to come through there. 2 versus 3 is now going to be the man count. 3 in favour of Nip at this stage, but Black Dragons are going to pick up a kill of their own with Ion taking out Wag. The diffuser does not appear to be in the hands of the attackers, which is going to make things very difficult. Pino is going to pick up a clutch kill there onto GDN. The diffuser is still not in hand. Leisure Mine in the foot. I don't think Pino's got enough time to do anything about this. This is surely going to go the way of BD. No, the diffuse is going to stick. It is going down. Ion there is going to be left with it all to do. He picks up the kill onto Pino. He picks up the second kill onto Psycho. 2 headshots back to back. He's going to get the diffuse. That's going to be a round for Black Dragons, and that's going to be the first map of Coastline going to Black Dragons. It came down to the wire then in that. I was almost certain that there wasn't enough time for the plant to go down, but it didn't matter anyway because Ion was there to pick up the pieces, pick up the 2K, get the diffuse, and bring this to, well, first map going to BD. So very well deserved there. Good scoreline as well, 7-4. Black Dragons did all they needed there, and they really picked it up on defense, and they managed to win rounds on defense where Ninjas in Pyjamas just really weren't able to win much on defense.
Yeah, they definitely weren't able to in that penthouse theater right at the end there. They were doing so well with it as well. That's why I don't understand. But Black Dragons will take the first map 1-0. That is their map pick, don't forget. They did choose to come to Coastline. And Ninjas in Pyjamas did choose to go to Bull.